That was easily the hardest bike ride, by far, that I've ever done. I desperately need a new bike seat.
Yeah, okay. My bike setup was pretty sad. 70, 80 pounds, no panniers, no pedal clips, just a dude who wanted to go on a bike ride. That turns out I was way underprepared for. If you clicked on this video because you wanted to learn about the trails and path that I took, you'll get that. I'd also like to share a thought that kept recurring to me along the trail. That there's always another hill when you're taking the right path. When looking for routes in the seemingly endless mountains of West Virginia's Appalachia, there was something alluring to me about biking a loop, starting and ending at the same place, traveling only by my own will, energy, and bicycle. So I decided on a 170-mile trip, totaling around 12,000 feet elevation gain that connected roads, West Virginia's rural countrysides, rail trails for bikes and people, more roads, towns, and Seneca Rocks, taking about 2.5 days. I was joined by my friend Hazel, a fellow bike-packing rookie. It was Hazel's first bike-packing trip and my second.
It's a big loop, so we'll end up where we're starting, which is Nelson Rocks.
Taking roads 28 and 250 through Circleville to Durban to get to the West Fork Trail. Day one was an absolute slap to the face about what I thought I was getting into. Fresh legs, ready for the first challenge, we faced about a 2,000 foot elevation gain for the day, being mostly one massive hill.
It's definitely super bike.
And then this is it going uphill.
Still going.
I knew this trip would be a struggle, but I had no idea how difficult it was actually going to be. As we were going up the first hill, my mind just kept filling up with doubts about the ride. I had no doubt that we would finish, but I was starting to think it was going to be way harder and way longer than I expected.
We made it up the first massive hill. One of the hardest parts of the trip was definitely like the first through 2 hours. Now we got downhill to go.
Once we got to the top, the first hill, we thought we'd be good. Easy from there. Of course, it wasn't. As we get to Durban, it was looking dark.
That is where we're going. Rain. Did not anticipate rain. Weather did not call for it.
Wrapped the sleeping bag in trash bags because I didn't think it was gonna rain. I brought like a rain catch, so this is what this green thing is, and also like a tarp that I could pull out, just didn't have time, but yeah.
We finally make it to the West Fork Trail. Our goal for day one was to get as far up the trail as possible.
How's Le Crotch?
Not good. It's not good.
Well,
Oh, Jesus.
Hazel's got some tent action. Ultralight tent, which is way cooler setup than mine. Zoop. Hammock boy. We'll go this tree, that tree. This tree, that tree, this tree, that tree, this tree, that tree.
We called it early for the night, maybe after 30 minutes on the West Fork Trail, so we went to sleep.
Well, first night was okay. I couldn't breathe out of my nose for like all night. I don't know if it was because of allergies or like this gash on my nose, which is from slacklining, if you were wondering. Got a wonderful no coffee monster, which in high school I went through a phase where I loved these drinks, but I don't really like these drinks.
Hello.
All right, day 2. So we were only like 4 or 5 miles up the West Fork Trail. The hills and the rain and the muddy rail trails, really underestimated those. Anyways, today we're trying to make it to Elkins and then as far up the Allegheny Highlands Trail as we can on our way to Thomas and Davis. So let's do it.
With very little sleep, because I couldn't breathe well, and sore butts, we set off to finish the West Fork Rail Trail to get to Glady. This 22-mile rail trail, starting from Durban, is a low-grade elevation gain of about 1,200 feet. You follow along the West Glady Fork River, crossing over a few bridges and long tunnels of green. What made this trail difficult wasn't a hill, but the muddy tracks and long grass. Within the first few hours, my feet and socks were completely soaked. Your tires sink into the mud. It's like you're in quicksand, but the ground pulling all your momentum backwards. We were moving slow. Counting miles, I was really starting to doubt that we would finish in time. We hit mile marker 17, the top of the small grade incline. And the trail gets way better. It was dry, no grass, and slightly downhill. We get to Glady, get some water, and begin our way to Elkins. We decided to take Route 22, a 17-mile ride with about 3,600 feet elevation, and it was steep. So, switchbacks. Wonderful and reprieving downhills. More switchbacks. Somewhere along this road to Elkins is probably where I hit my mental rock bottom. My body hurt, we were going slow, I wasn't getting the footage I had envisioned, and it was hot. Getting the shots was as taxing as you would imagine. Bike up to a location, get the camera and tripod, while Hazel holds my bike because it's too heavy to stand on the kickstand, turn the camera on, bike back down the hill, just to bike back up again, run back, get the camera, pack it away, and onward again. Problems, pains, hill after hill, we pressed on to Elkins.
Well, we made it to Elkins, and I am pooped.
We restocked in Elkins, got pizza. We continued our way to start the Allegheny Highlands Trail. The Allegheny Highlands Rail Trail is around 26 miles, gaining 3,100 feet of elevation. It's a fantastic, well-kept trail that offers views of West Virginia's rural countryside and small rural towns. There was minimal mud, no long grass. Things were finally looking up. We're cruising along and we make it to Parsons, get dinner, and we end up going just a few more miles before setting up camp along the Blackwater River.
Got terrible allergies. I haven't really been able to sleep well because I can't breathe. Oh well. Third and final day.
We get up, we begin our third and final day. Before long, we hit Hendricks and we hop along the Blackwater Canyon Trail on our way to Thomas. The Blackwater Canyon Trail is about 11 miles and a gradual decline into Thomas. The path is pretty awesome. You trail along the river while passing a few waterfalls. It can get pretty rocky though, so definitely want to bring thicker tires. We make it to Thomas, which is just such an awesome town, and we decide to get some coffee at Tip Top. Which, hey Cade, if you're watching this, reply to my emails about holding some of my West Virginia art at your locations. So, we're off to Davis. The plan is to go through Canaan Valley, hit Seneca, then continue to where we began in Nelson Rocks. Taking roads 32 and 33, it takes about 34 miles to get to Seneca Rocks, which consists of a few pretty big hills, about 2,200 feet elevation gain, with some of the biggest downhill rides of the entire trip. This part of the trip was by far the scariest part. These are busy roads with large semi-trucks barreling down these massive hills with winding sharp turns around unsuspecting corners. Sometimes you only have a few inches of the road's shoulder, so a lot of the time you're on the road too. So definitely bring the high-vis gear. Trucks, cars, we're all respectful. Hey, maybe the share the road signs make a difference. Throughout the trip, I really did not think this video would even happen based off how little I use my camera. As I'm finishing this up, I'm stoked about how it turned out. Definitely the hardest edit I have made yet. While biking, there were definitely moments where I just hated the bike trip. Parts of it just sucked. I purposely chose likely the hardest possible trip I could achieve in the 2.5 day window that I had. It was rewarding because it is hard. The downhills only came after the grueling uphill battles. Yeah, it's cliche at this point, but there's always going to be hills, problems, struggles when you're going the way you're supposed to. So just choose the direction that scares you and go. Sometimes things will suck, but with the confidence that you'll be able to figure things out, you'll get exactly where you want to go. But hopefully not smell as bad as I did.
Thank you, buddies. Y'all are too sweet. Hope you all have a nice rest of your day. Aren't they cute? Maybe they think I'm gonna feed them something. But I don't think they want sweet tarts or Pop-Tarts. All right, heading back down now. See ya.